All right. Oh, if you want to switch up. All right. I'll switch up. So, all right. Ready? Come on. Please.
It is the people's music, so people, plural. It refers to music that comes out of a shared way of life, a shared way of looking at the world, a shared set of struggles or obstacles.
I feel like what's really beautiful about folk music is that it's often not really written intentionally by like a person or like a group of people. It's something that comes out of a collective history.
I see bands coming to the Yale farm that have a deep love of the tradition of folk music, that have a really deep appreciation of generating music together. It seems like the setting is just perfect for folk music.
Acoustic instruments, certain kinds of old-fashioned string instruments, banjos, mandolins, maybe fiddles, acoustic guitars, stuff like that. That's the kind of aesthetic of folk music. And I think, it is useful in that it points us to the fact that this music that we're talking about is from a long time ago. Our popular music, even to this day, they go back to rural musicians from all different parts of America.
We come in with like this really existing and rich body of music that has been sung for a really long time and sort of come into being through the different iterations of students who've been in this group. And so a lot of our job as like stewards in this year that we're musical directors is like teaching the existing repertoire and passing on this collection of songs that has grown with this group.
This music is our connection to a period in our own history that we may not know about if it weren't for these songs. It's a way of learning about history that is alive.
So when people ask me, as they do all the time, students ask me, what's different from like your Yale and our Yale? And they want me to say something like diversity or this or that. It's like, no, here's the difference that really strikes me. When I was an undergraduate, you heard music everywhere. The way you listen to music, it's like nobody had earbuds. There was none of that. You listen to things on a record player, and people, some of them would put their speakers on old campus, but even on the whole campus, out the window. It's like, by the way, this is what I'm listening to.
How do we think about like the music that we identify as folk music when the way people interact with it primarily is on Spotify or on YouTube or, in their own homes?
Religion is practice, not for the soul. People look inside you, digging for your spirit, not your gold.
You lose a certain sense of community in the name of access. But there's a danger in the accessibility of that music, which is the risk of not ever learning where it really came from. When you have all this music, it lets you explore the world of folk music alone.
I'm concerned for the next generation as far as how young players are going to develop their skills, because the venues in which we honed our abilities don't exist now in the same place.
Dreamed a dream by the old canal. Ella kissed my girl by the factory wall. Dirty old town. Dirty old town.
There is something about the small venue where you can see the person's hands and their eyes and what they're doing. And I think intimacy is often a big part of what draws people to folk music. There's something elementally satisfying about a person playing any kind of music right there in front of you.
Going to private school, going to a private college, I felt insulated from the America that was being depicted by singer-songwriters like Woody Guthrie and Bob Dylan.
I don't know, I think what's important is genuinely connecting to the story that's being told. What is folk music about? I think it's about like love and like loss and death, and like that's part of what makes it folk, is like the universal themes, you know.
Music and art functions on borrowing and influencing, and people constantly do it, and there's cross-cultural, you know, things that happen all the time, and we don't want to come into someone else's musical culture like a bunch of know-it-alls and act like we own it.
We can really learn a lot about our history, about the way people have lived. At the same time, the techniques, the traditions have historically been, transmitted through communities, people who really know each other.
And when you work the material in front of live audiences, it develops and deepens, and often in certain ways simplifies, because it's kind of on a certain level gone through the old folk process, and what remains is the nut of that song and the best part of it and the simplified, beautifully clear version.
All those years they spent, playing the same songs over and over and over again, you can feel the love in it.
I think one of the special things about TWIB is it's a musical space that really welcomes a lot of difference. I think we all really want to learn from the way that other people in the group sing, or the way that other people in the group play guitar.
It takes years to develop the kind of knowledge and expertise to be able to play this music live. Playing music that will honor the people who came before you, and people who taught you, the people who taught them. You don't want the human beings who are part of that chain to get lost.
This has been my first time really making music with my peers, and I would say I've just learned so much, and my music taste has expanded so much from whatever I thought folk music was before.
The sense of unity and political education happening through folk music that I experienced in the 70s was profound.
This is a song about New Haven. What happens when the right demands of the people are not met. It's a song about anger, the fire that is anger that burns in people's hearts, a good kind of fire. Well, the model city's burning.
At that year, and for a couple of years, it was like a floating happening. And the happening happened to float into New Haven for the Black Panther trials.
There was a network of locations and an audience that was hungry to hear this kind of stuff. It's sing-along choruses, simple lyrics that have power, and I sang at a lot of demonstrations in New Haven.
Guys getting off Bridgeport Bar.
Folk music becomes resonant for us in moments of political crisis or power struggle or tension, precisely because it grows out of shared experience and shared struggle.
They're easy to sing, they feel good to sing. Music, especially at times of deep emotion and division, can play such a powerful role in bringing people together.
And next week, it might be us. Well, if you
I remember a lot of folk music being sung on campus, just, at demonstrations, at protests. I think a lot of the music that was being sung is not necessarily in our rep, but is part of that same tradition. Oh my gosh, what was the one that we were talking about? The lay down my sword and shield, yell by the riverside.
Yeah, study
War no more.
These are songs that are about the power of ordinary people coming together. And they grow out of that experience of life.
And part of the function that was served so well by folk music in the past was bringing people together around those concerns and letting them see, oh yeah, look, everybody here is singing together. We are all thinking about this.
There's just like a testament to things that prevailed throughout history as things that were once significant and still can be significant, like in a way that's even more powerful.
I was at a rally last year for protecting academic workers here at Yale, and I was really moved by Tangled Up in Blue coming and singing Ohio, which is a song that was written about the Kent State killings. And I just felt the continuing relevance of this music to us today.
Soldiers and Nixon coming, we're finally on our own. This summer I hear them drumming, for dead in Ohio, 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 for dead in Ohio.
People are making folk music in their own homes, for their families and friends, in their communities. The new music that people are making to express this moment is already being made, and the way to get connected with that music is just to surround yourself with people who play it.
All men are false, says my dear mother. They'll tell you again, love and lies. In the very next evening, they'll court another and leave you alone to pine inside, to pine inside. My daddy's a handsome devil. He's got a chain 5 miles long, and on each link a heart does dangle of another man. He's loved and wronged. He's loved and wronged. That she will be your bride, for I've been